Hey there, this is Carissa, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Inky Fairy Designs. Happy World Card Making Day. Today I am going to be making this adorable card using some watercolors and these new to me stamps by Picket Fence Studios. I wanted to show you, I went to the Scrapbook Expo here in Denver a couple weeks ago, and I picked up these darling stamps. So that first one was called Jill Girl. Can't wait to color her up. This one, you guys know I love unicorns. This one's called Sympathetic Unicorn, and it is so cute. It's going to make some great like encouragement cards. And then this one is called Coffee Understands. I really love the sentiments in this set. Coffee doesn't ask questions. Coffee just understands. I mean, can you relate to that or what? So that one's going to be a super fun one to create with. And then today I'm using this one. I love the Little Mermaid. It's called Little Coral Girl, and she is just darling, and it has all these little elements that you can create a super cute scene card with. I'm ending up using this Prima watercolor that I also picked up at the Scrapbook Expo. It's the Currents collection, and then I pulled out my Jane Davenport. You guys know I've combined two of her sets to create this palette, mainly using the skin tone colors and then a couple of the other ones. I will be using mostly this Princeton Neptune watercolor brush. It is a round number 4. It's a good size for coloring stamped images. And then for the background, I will pull out a black velvet brush number 8 because I like it to be all nice and loose and splashy. So, yes, you will find all of the links to these stamps in the description box below. I am an affiliate with them, so that is super awesome. I met the owner and, or I think one of the owners. It's a family business, which is super awesome. I love supporting family-owned businesses, and he was really nice. And I'm excited to be an affiliate with such a great company. Plus, they have such adorable stamps, so I can't wait to start using more. So you will find those links below. And to watercolor the stamp, I like to do wet on dry when I'm coloring stamps with watercolors. That just means that the paper is dry, and then I am bringing in the wet pigment and then spreading it around. So you can see I'm kind of mixing a couple of the colors. I colored up the tail and her little bathing suit top, and now I'm going to come in and start doing the hair. So for the entire stamped image scene, I will be using this wet on dry technique. So I really like it, like I said, for coloring stamps. It makes it really simple, and you have a lot more control as far as where the paint is going. And with stamped images, it's just kind of a little bit easier because they tend to be on a smaller scale. So adding the layers like this really helps. And so I also kind of do an all over layer with one color, and then I will come in with different colors, either darker or different shades, and then add some shadows to her hair and the tail. So sorry about that. I guess I should mute my phone. Yeah, so it was really fun to color the stamp. I know this is a longer video, and I tried to cut out a lot of the extra stuff, but I thought you might want to see the process of watercoloring a stamped image. I know that I do a lot of watercoloring on this channel, and stamping and coloring images with watercolors is one of my favorite techniques. So I wanted to share that with you today on this awesome holiday. And I hope you guys are getting some cards made or doing some coloring today, something fun and relaxing, because that's what this hobby is all about. So I did leave in a lot of the mixing of the colors, and yeah, so this palette, Currents, is really, really pretty. I love all of the greens and different shades of blues that it has in it. And it really kind of just really went well with this stamp set because it's a water ocean themed type of palette. All of the names are super cute and definitely ocean oriented. So we've got like seaside and blue whale, jellyfish, kelp, algae, seagrass, deep sea, which I used most of the colors somewhere on this card. Not all of them, but a lot. I did use most of them, either on the image itself or in the background. And then to do her skin, like I said, I love my Jane Davenport neutrals palette for that. I pulled out just a few of them and added it to the Brights palette just so that I could have them all in one area. And it just makes coloring skin tones super easy. You can totally mix your own skin tones, but seriously, for when I'm sitting down to paint or make a card, I don't want to think about all of that. What should I mix? I need to mix opposites and then, testing it out, coming up with the right color. I just want to pull something out and create something. I just want to get in that zone and make something. So don't make it super difficult on yourself, especially with watercolors. I know a lot of people message me all the time when I post cards on Instagram and they say, oh, it's so pretty. I can't do that. I wish I could watercolor like you. And honestly, you can. Just grab some pretty palettes. You don't need to use expensive paints. I like to use a really good paper. If I'm going to spend my money on something, it's going to be the paper, which I totally forgot to mention. I am using the Stonehenge Legion paper. It's the Aqua hot press, 140 pounds. So I tend to alternate between hot press and cold press. I really like hot press when I'm stamping images because you don't have a lot of that super texture, so you get a clear stamped image. And then I love my cold press for loose watercolor florals and paintings like that. So I love both. And I would say if you're going to spend your money on something, spend it on the paper. Get some really good high quality paper. And then pick up some palettes that you are drawn to, some of your favorite colors. Prima has some really great crafter grade palettes, watercolor palettes that you can pick up. They come with 12 colors, so you can get going with one palette and just put the paint to paper and play. Pick out a favorite stamp and don't think too hard about it, and just make something that makes you happy. That's what I do, and that's when people tell me that they love my watercoloring and they wish they could do it, all I ever want to say, and I do say it a lot, is you can. Just try it. And speaking of watercoloring and learning how to watercolor, I am going to be teaching at the Unstoppable Retreats. The first one is in February in 2020, and it's in Athens, Georgia, I believe. I'm going to put a link in the description box below. If you're near the area or you want to travel to a really great retreat with lots of amazing teachers and stamp companies and sponsors, definitely check it out. I would love to meet you. I would love to see you. And I would love to show you how easy and simple it is to create cards like this one using watercolors, because it is absolutely my favorite thing to do. And I wish I could just share it with everybody. And that's why I do share these videos when I can, because I do want to share that with everybody. And I would love everybody to try it and fall in love with it just like I did. So you can see that I have come in and added a little bit of shading to her hair, as well as the little fins, or what are they called? I can't think, but I added some shading to her mermaid tail. And now I'm just coming in. I colored in the rocks a very soft blue. It's from the Jane Palette Brights collection. It's called Ink. It's one of my favorite shadow colors. And just adding a little bit of that to the tiny little crab with his shell house. And I think, what else am I going to do here? I think I'm just really kind of creating some depth and shadows to the image to bring it to life. It is very tiny, these little seaweeds or kelp or whatever. And just adding a bit of shading. Now, I was watching a movie with my husband when I was coloring this. And so, like I said, I tried to cut out all of the non-important things. But if you see me kind of like not doing something and I'm not thinking, I'm looking at the movie or talking to my husband and saying, what just happened? We were watching this movie called Serenity with Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you guys seen that. It was really weird, super, super weird. And yeah, I would always be like, hey, what just happened? What's going on? Is this, it was just so weird. Even afterwards, we were like talking about it and just like, that was such a weird movie. Kind of sad too. All right, so I finished the image and now I believe, yes, I have switched to my silver black velvet brush, and you can kind of see I am switching my technique here. So this is going to be wet on wet. So what I'm doing is taking my water, and it is dirty water now, but so you can see it has a little bit of a blue shade to it, but I just wet my paper where I'm going to start adding the background, and then I will bring in some pigment and move that around with my brush. I really love using the wet on wet technique for backgrounds especially, and it just allows the paint to move and blend and do all sorts of fun things without me kind of forcing it to do anything. Where I wet the paper is where the paint will move, and it won't go beyond that unless I bring more water and let it blend out, which I do to try to get those soft little edges. Around the seaweed, I was kind of fussing a little bit, and then I thought, what the heck, I'm just going to bring it all, blend it all together. I'm not going to worry about if some of the green reactivates and blends out, because that is the beauty of watercolor. I want that. And she is underwater, so why not let that kind of do its thing? So I'm just going to continue to create the background and blend it out with this light color first, and then I will come in with a couple of darker blues just around the image, and to create a little bit of a drop shadow underneath her. And here's that darker color, and I'm just kind of dropping that in. My background is still wet, so it's still going to blend and move and create some really pretty effects there. And this technique for backgrounds is super, super simple. You don't have to think about it very much at all. Just let the paint do its thing with the water, and the results are beautiful every single time. They're different every single time. And that's one of the things that I really love about watercolors, is the unexpected beauty in it. And I don't have to think, it allows me to just let go of kind of like that control, and learn to appreciate the things that happen beyond what I might try to do. So that is what I love about watercolors. It's really taught me to let go, and in my art and in life in general. And I think it's just amazing how a art medium can do that. So yeah, it's coming together really pretty, and I don't know what else to say. This is a long video to talk through, but watercoloring does take time, especially with a scene that I kind of created. I say scene very loosely in quotes because it's not super detailed or anything like that. I thought about trying to create some kind of light rays coming through the top of the water, but see, that all is very technical, and thinking about stuff like that, like for me, it takes the fun out of it, and I apologize for my head getting in the way there. But yeah, if I have to think too hard, then I don't want to do it, which is kind of funny. But with art and with card making, it's just all about fun for me and kind of letting go and allowing myself some grace and some freedom, and to let go of whatever might be on my mind that day. So now I'm just bringing it. I'm pretty much done with the background. I thought it would be fun to kind of do a little bit of dry brushing and pull that pigment out a little bit. Drop in some more color, and that's it. I think she looks really cute, super fun. And what am I doing here? Okay. So I had lost her little rosy cheeks, so I'm bringing that in. And to do the cheeks, I usually mix a pink or a red with the skin tone that I had already used. That just makes it blend so much easier. Okay, so I've die cut the image panel with a W+9 Sunshine, I believe, die cut. It just framed it super nice. And then I'm adding a little bit of white highlights to the bubbles, her cheeks, and the tail with a Jelly Roll pen. I am filling in the areas of the fish that didn't stamp over the mask really well, just to make them go all the way up against the image and look like they're tucked behind her. I will then add some sparkle with a Spectrum Noir glitter pen to her tail and the flower in her hair, and adding a little bit of highlight to the fish. And then this card is done. It's very simple. Like I cut out all the card making, so you can tell that and it's World Cardmaking Day. Anyway, I did stamp and mask her, and then stamped all the elements around her, and then I die cut it, and then I just put it on a card base, and that's it. She's not popped up. It's very simple, clean, and a super cute cards. When there's so much coloring going on, I like to keep it really simple. Here's some close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video for World Cardmaking Day. If you're celebrating, let me know what you're doing. Are you hanging out with friends? Are you participating in challenges? Leave that information in the comments below so I can go check them out as well. And I hope you love this. If you haven't heard of this stamp company before, I hope you love them just as much as I do. If you have, let me know that too. And thank you again so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love it if you shared this on your social media with your other card making loving friends. Give them some more inspiration today, and always stay inspired, be creative, and share that with others. Bye.